This is Brian, and this is his right eye. What's it? Happy if I turn this the right way, wouldn't it? All right. So you see all this white. Now consider an eye like a wagon wheel. Remember, here's the hub of the wheel, and here's hundreds of little fibers that emanate out, under which is the rods and cones. Now, anytime the fibers have a deviation like this, like these patterns, we call those lacunas. The deeper ones crypts. I like to just simply use the concept of fiber patterns. When you take a look at this eye, you will notice there is very little fiber patterns. You hardly see a few little places. That's a kidney right there, little bitty. This is called a strong constitution. When those fibers are nice and straight, that's George Burns. These people have the genes up in the 90s and 100s or more, and yet these guys abuse themselves probably the most. And old biker friends like this that live, up in their 70s and 80s, and what they've done to their bodies couldn't even be described. So you can see here with the two that his eye should be blue, which it is, but you can see the different colorations different in the cameras and things. But it's enough to say that obviously a blue eye. You do see these patterns here, which is still a fairly good constitution. I'd say high end medium or low high. But when you see this white stuff, yellow stuff, brown stuff, on top of fibers, whatever's on top of the fibers, like all this white stuff. She has some. That's limped. And if you'll notice, we talked about this is the collarette, like the collar of a shirt. This is the collarette around the pupil. Now, this is Brian, you've got a perfect stomach ring here. You should never see this stomach ring, but you see this perfect circle around the pupil. Now, if you look at your iris charts, this is the stomach, and that's overacidic. You see that little brown ring around the pupil there? That is a malabsorption ring. Well, if we have a malabsorption ring, we're going to walk right out to the bowel wall. And the collarette wall, which we're looking at here, the collarette wall. See that little white rope look? That little thickened white area that follows the bowel line? As a matter of fact, when you follow the bowel line, you're actually following the way your bowels are designed inside. Whether they're weak, prolapsed, ballooned, like this is a little prolapsed ascending colon here. A little prolapsed hepatic flexure, which is the flexure that curves under the right breast chest area and goes across. So all this white is lymphatic, but in the annals of lymphatics, not bad. A lot of congestion in the forehead here and up in the tonsil area. This is a lot of congestion in the upper back head area. Here's a weakness in the neck and the throat area, so gives you a sore throat generally when you're detoxing. This is the leg here, so from the knee down, you have a weakness in the leg and also up in the femur, so that's a little bit of a weak leg. Right here's the adrenal glands. There's the kidney. Not too bad. A lot of congestion there. When you start seeing these little whiter dots, and let me see if I can see one for you here. Now let me show you while I'm thinking about this. Let me show you these white dots first. You see how these little white dots are? And if you look on an iris chart, this is all in the lymph node area. Not the lymphatic area. This is lymph node. Lymphatics all through the body. But these are lymph nodes. And you see these little white dots? That's a lymphatic rosary around the eye. And that means that those lymph nodes are swollen. A lot of people have had their lymph nodes swollen most of their lives because their kidneys aren't filtering. And this is the left eye. And you can see there's the real bad kidney. And it's just not filtering these lymph nodes. Major interstitial lymphatic constipation here. I want to show you why, Brian, I'm saying that about you. Here's a dairy farmer. Here's a dairy farmer up here from upper New York. See how thick that lymph system is in this guy? He also has an ice cream manufacturing business. So he came in one day, he's 84 when I took this picture, and he was mad at me because I had the book in my office on milk and how bad it was for you. And he said, I'm 84 because I drink milk. You're very wrong. I said, no, you're 84 because you have good genes. You're in here with cancer because of the milk. Now, let's look at this. This is up here getting into the right ear, the right cerebellum. And remember, we talked about this is the dizzy equilibrium center up here. So, Brian, you've got this coming your way here. Right side cerebellum, back of the neck. A lot of congestion up here in the sinuses. This looks like the pituitary area or close to it. This would be the pineal. So your rest would be somewhat disturbed maybe at times. This is going into the bladder and lower back here. Then your kidneys, little groin, not bad. I mean, these are fairly good genes. This is probably pancreatic and right testicle. And you see how this white ring is around these areas? That's why Jensen said that these areas of weakness always has a compromised lymph and blood flow. Well, I'll say this, it definitely has a compromised lymph flow, and these are always the areas that's problematic. When we shift around here on the right side there, pancreas, testicle, liver, gallbladder, all that needs to be strengthened up. All that's weak through this area here. Here we get into the bronchial trunks, of course, here. Not bad, though. I'm saying that. Here is Brian's left eye. Now, you see this blood vessel in your right eye? That's fixated. We're pointing right at that weakness right there in the throat. This is probably C-spine weakness, so you better check your C-spine to see if it's not pinching, because that shows that there's stress or pinching in that area here, and it's related right to that area of weakness in the throat or upper neck area. You also have it here related to the liver. See the sclera? And your sclera has a lot of red in there, and all this shows acidosis. So all should be white. You shouldn't see these big blood vessels. That's sclerology. Left side, you still see all these blood vessels here. Very acidic person. The stomach shows very acidic. The eye is a very acid-looking eye. On the left side, it looks to me like you have more lymphatic issues than the right. Again, here's the upper femur. A lot of lymph in the adrenal gland. So much so that you have to be careful not to get cysts or tumors growing on your adrenal gland there. This is the prostate. See, that's sticking out, so you have to be careful with your prostate. And then we enter into the lower back. You're getting up toward the mid-back and up to the throat area again. So you've got to just clean and strengthen. Good body here, just got to clean and strengthen. Again, a lot of sinus congestion left side. We're back into the lower brain, cerebellum, and left ear over here. You see a big prolapsing of the transverse colon. So I'm going, well, that seems to be a lot of parathyroid going on. We're seeing a lot of connective tissue weaknesses, a lot of skeletal weaknesses. So we're going to go to the parathyroid. And right there, now it looks like the bowel's just ballooned there. And that's a small bowel, but it's ballooned quite large. So I think the parathyroid is encompassed in that bowel wall there. And I think you have to really work on your parathyroid gland. I definitely would go to the glandulars on that because we don't know what herbs are for the parathyroid. And that'll strengthen the body up and the skeletal system up pretty good there.